Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to learn how to install DDM's intake tube. This is for the 2.0 or LNF engines with the turbo. I'm going to make it real quick and simple. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so the piece that we're replacing today is going to be right here underneath your turbo hose and connected to your turbo and your airbox. Now there's a couple connections that we need to remove in order to remove this hose. One is the PCV connection. You set that to the side. Next is your MAF connection. So there's a tab on the bottom here. So you push that up, pull out, and then you can set that to the side wherever you'd like. I like to just we'll just snug him away. Next, you got two worm drives. There's one there, and then there's one way in here, right there. Now, as you can see, these worm drives, they have a flathead end, but they also have a little hexagonal shape. These can take an 8mm socket, whichever you prefer. One thing that also makes this a little easier is if you take your airbox, disconnect it, and whenever you unscrew this, just remove the airbox completely so that you have full room in there and you can easily squiggle it out. So we're gonna go ahead and remove all those connections and remove our airbox, and we'll be right back. Alright, so to remove the top of the airbox, there's just 6 clasps that you'll need to remove located around the top portion. And then of course you undo your top worm drive connected to your hose. Once all of those are done, this does have a little bit of flexible room back here, so it is okay to move this a little bit, just not a whole lot. And then you'll kind of wiggle this out until this comes free like so. And then you can set that to the side. Alright, so next we're going to remove this hose completely. Don't forget to disconnect this connection down here by the turbo. Now this is movable. As you can see, the bottom part isn't moving, but this top part can. I'll show here in a little bit why it can do that. But you'll want to take it and you'll kind of move it back and forth. Just be careful, as this plastic is still brittle. Kind of grab it from the bottom if you can and just kind of shimmy it out until it completely dislodges from the turbo. Come on. Just like so. And then you'll slide it up from the top. Alright, so here I'm going to show you the differences between DDM's and the factory. So here we have the factory, and then here we have DDM's silicone variant. As you can see, the knob where the PCV connects is much bigger, and it's metal. On top of that, if you look at our factory, it has a little piece here. You know, this allows for some movement, like I showed earlier. DDM's does not have that. This is more stiff, but being silicone, it is going to be much more flexible and less brittle. Looking at the end pieces here, DDM's got a large opening that connects to the turbo, while the factory's is a little bit smaller. And one last thing I want to point out, if you look at DDM's, theirs does not come with any kind of clasps or T-bolts, worm drives, to connect this to our car. So they're expecting us to use the OEM fasteners, which I don't mind. I will say one thing, our factories is worm drive, and with my past experience with worm drives, these little slits here, when you tighten it onto the silicone, these slits dig in and they cut into the silicone material, and they'll start cutting away at it, which I don't like. And that's exactly why whenever whenever I installed their silicone hoses here, I replaced the worm drive ones that they gave with T-bolts. That's because the worm drives that they provided started cutting into the material, and I didn't want to have a problem later on, because the longer you have it, the more it's going to cut into that material. So for now, I'm going to be scooting these over onto the silicone. And then one last thing I want to show here about biting it. As you can see, these are they got some sharp points on the factory as well. These are also going to be factors at digging in to the silicone hose as well. So keep that in mind. I'd buy some T-bolt clamps or T-bolt fitments so that you can get that on there nice and tight, and it's not going to bite into the material. So to install this, it's the exact opposite of how we took it off. You know, install this first and then install the air box and then the connections. So other than that, that's how you're going to do that. Quick and easy. Good job. Alright, thanks for checking out the video. I hope it was some help to y'all. I want to remind y'all to check out my Google Drive. I got a lot of information on there regarding the Kappas, ranging from the Solstice to the Skies and the Opel GTs. I got TSBs, diagrams, part numbers, catalogs, a lot of good stuff on there. So don't forget to check that out. I'll see y'all next time, and until then, y'all take care.